to The Private Record. Butlers and the Buff. Butlers and the Buff. I feel like not enough people know what Butlers and the Buff is. I didn't know what it was. Now I do. Now I definitely do. And if you don't, you're about to find out. Our guest for this episode, his name's John. John was a butler in the Buff. So sort of as a deliverer of the fact that Butlers in the Buff exists and it's sort of like history, John was very valuable to me as an individual on this earth. But his story isn't just about that Butlers in the Buff exists. It's about a specific night of his employment as a butler in the Buff. And, well, you know what? I'm not even going to give anything away. It's a crazy story about being a butler in the Buff. It's a good story. You know what I mean? That's all there is to it. If you want to be a guest on the show, go to theprivaterecord.com and submit yourself as a potential guest. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. Follow us on social media, Instagram, TikTok, at The Private Record. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, at The Private Record. Like, comment, do all that stuff. It means a lot to us. It means a lot to the show. It helps the show. It helps me. It helps you, because then there's going to be an endless amount of episodes. You get to watch them forever and ever and ever, and that's good. Thank you very much. I'll see you again soon. Thank you, John. Thank you, Butlers in the Buff. It's a fucking weird job, but somebody's got to do it. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Hey, Matt. My name is John Burke, and I guess the headline of this story would be Strippers, Cops, and Cocaine, a terrible mix when you're working.
A terrible mix when you're involved in the story, but a perfect mix when you're listening to the story. So without further delay, let's get into this amazing tale.
All right. So last year, I was a little bit short on cash. So I took a little side duty of becoming it's a butler in the Buff. So it's basically you're this guy who walks around in an apron, your arse is out, you got a little bow tie and cufflinks, and you just get booked to go to these bachelorette parties and play party games. It's actually pretty innocent. I make it pretty innocent because I actually semi-play by the rules. I know guys who do the job who make it not innocent, but I try to give each girl the attention that they deserve, because there's girls there who might have low self-esteem, so you give them a bit of attention too. Don't just talk to the pretty girls.
Yeah.
And anyway, so I usually do it on my own.
Let me ask you real quick, how, because I wasn't familiar with this until I read your submission, but how did you was this something you knew about for a while, or like, did it come down the pike when somebody told you about an opportunity? Like, how did you find out about Butlers in the Buff?
There was, so where I'm from in Whistler, a ski town, they have this little community group where people will post jobs and opportunities. And then this guy posted about looking for guys for Butlers in the Buff.
Got it.
So I ended up going for like a FaceTime interview, and it was the most strange interview. It was this like 70-year-old English bald guy.
Oh my God.
And he was like asking me these questions, and by the end of it, he's like, all right, now comes the part where I have to ask you to take your shirt off.
Wow.
It was just so surreal doing that. And I was like, oh God. I was like, if my mother could see me now, she would be ashamed. So I was like taking my shirt off and like doing like, and then he was like, all right. And I was getting ready to actually take the trousers off, but keep on the boxers.
Right.
And he's like, no, we don't need to say anything else, like just the shirt. And I was like, okay, cool.
Hey, all right.
And you just have to be bubbly. So usually I do it on my own, but I get a text from the big boss man, and he's like, all right, John, you're going to be working with this other guy called, I'll not say his name, but you're going to be working with this other guy. And so I meet up with this other guy, and I know about this other guy because I've seen him around town. It's a small town, so I've seen him around. So we start speaking tactics. We're like, oh, what games you got? What games I got? Oh, that's a good game. We should put that second, because my game would be a good game to lead them in with, to kind of break the ice. And that's kind of a riskier game, so we'll play that. You're kind of feeling out your kind of routine of how you would do it. So we've got our things. We're kind of, first time I met the guy, we're seeming to get along pretty well. I'm excited for the night. He's excited. It should be fun. And we get a text at the same time, both of our phones. We pull out our phones at the same time, and we see, guys, there's going to be a third guy. It's his first time. He's come to meet you guys right now. Show him the ropes. You guys lead, let him watch. So we can just learn. So we were like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So this guy shows up, and we're kind of sizing him up straight away. You're kind of looking, all right, good looking fella. He's got a bit of chat. He seems confident. I should be fine. So we get to this, we take the top floor up to, we're above like the flashiest club in Whistler. So we know these people got money.
Right,
so we
right.
we go up to the top floor of this hotel and we walk in and there's 14 of these Vancouver chicks and they're going wild already. They're already pretty drunk. And we're like, they're all like, it's always a surprise. Like you always have to like sneak into the bathroom and then quickly get changed. And like you're fixing the other guy's bow tie while he's like putting baby oil on your back and stuff.
Wow.
It's really surreal.
Amazing.
So it's a surreal thing. But then we're like, okay, we're ready. And surprise. And then we're like, woo, like our butts are out. And then you introduce yourself. And then the night's going pretty well. But the third guy, like you have to stand up straight, have your arms behind your back. You have to be a butler at the end of the day. You're ready to cook. You're there to clean. You're there to play party games. Like you're their butler, but a party butler. And this third guy, he comes out with a can of like Molson, which is the shittest can of beer ever.
Wow.
But he brought cans.
He brought his own Molson to be a butler in the buff?
He brought his own cans and he like a bag of cans. And we're just like, and he comes and he hands us a can and we're like this. And these girls are drinking Cristal. Don't carry on.
The opposite.
And we're like, man, put away the fucking Molson. Are you serious? like these girls are drinking Cristal. Put away the Molson right now. So he puts away the cans and he's walking over to the girls. He's breaking that barrier where we're like the entertainment and they're the guests. And he's like talking in their ears as if he's like a guy in a night out. And you're just like, man, they don't want to hear or see that. It's not the image. And then eventually just keeps running to the bathroom all the time. Like he's constantly going to the bathroom.
Like we're talking every 5-10 minutes or like?
Like every 10 minutes, I'd say he's going to the bathroom.
Wow.
And then we need him for this game. And we're like, me and this other guy, who I do the job with, who we got along well. Oh, bear in mind, he's a very good looking fella. The other guy is a lot better looking than me. Like I'm like the talker, the gamer guy. And then this guy was like 6'3". He had he's Australian. He's actually got a job working the Thunder Down Under in Las Vegas. Big butch guy. But we're both looking at each other and we're like, all right, we're getting ready to play the next game. And we're looking at each other and like, where is he? And he's like, I don't know. Like, we're like, shit, he's in the bathroom. We'll kill time. So whilst we're killing time, we're like to the girls, so what's everyone do for a living? And the first girl goes, well, I'm actually a police officer down in Vancouver. And we're just like, oh, fuck. Because we know that he's in the bathroom doing coke.
Yeah, what else does he? He's not got diarrhea, he's got cocaine,
Yeah, and we're just like, oh, for fuck's sake. And then she goes, I'm a cop. And I'm just like, no.
Yeah.
Second girl, what do you do for a living? Oh, I'm a police officer. Third girl, cop. Fourth girl, cop. Matt, 14 of them, all of them, they were all cops.
What the fuck?
I was in a precinct. It was a precinct. And they're like, we're just like, everyone was cops. And then it was just me and BT, or the strippers. And then this guy in the bathroom doing coke. So mid-conversation, one of the girls stands up and goes, well, fuck you, Brittany. I'll get you on the next one. And she walks toward the bathroom. And I'm just like slow motion watching this girl walk toward the bathroom. She opens up the door and I can see the light of the bathroom shine on her face, and her face just drops. And she looks at me and she goes, in there now, like tells me to get into a bedroom.
The fuck?
So I like walk into the bedroom and then she like slowly closes the door behind her and she just immediately erupts. She goes, I'm a fucking cop. Like, George, like, I just walked into the bathroom. He was fucking doing cocaine in the bathroom. Like, I could arrest him right now for what he's doing. I'm the maid of honor. I have so much pressure on me tonight to make sure the bride has a good time.
My God.
She goes, your job is that my night should be better or the same, but definitely not worse. So why the fuck am I paying you? Why the fuck are you here? And you're so exposed. Like, you're just wearing this apron and you're just like, oh God, like, and I'm just like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Like, he just got put on us last second. Like, I'll kick him out right now. Like, we'll get him out of here. She goes, you fucking better. You better turn this night around quick. And like, I'm just like, oh, trembling, like trying to like keep on a brave face and smile.
Yeah.
So I walk over to him and just say, man, you need to get out of here right now. Or else you're going to get arrested. Like, they're all cops and you need to get out of here right now. So he's like pretty drunk and coked up. And he's like, oh, I was like, no, shut up. Get out, just get out. So he ends up leaving, and then I go back into the main room, and all the girls there are tearing each other's heads off because they're so drunk And I guess something happened when we were having the argument in the main room that made the whole room just turn against each other. They're like, fuck you, Brittany, you're lucky you're even at my wedding bachelorette party. Like, where was my invite when you got married? Like, and they're all turning on each other. And I'm just like, shit. And I'm like looking at Beachy, the other guy, and I'm like, man, like, will we try and get them to play a game or something? And I was like, everyone in the teams of two. And they're not even listening to me. Yeah. They're just like fucking shouting. I was like, Beachy, we've lost the room. Like, I've never lost the room before, but lost the room.
Right.
And then Beachy goes, fuck it. And he's just this gorgeous Chris Hemsworth looking guy. And he just goes, fuck it. And he walks over and he unplugs the music that they had on. And he puts on that phony song, like the Magic Mike.
Oh, yeah. The fucking Genuine thing. Yeah.
And he just plugs it in and then grabs the bride and just throws her on the couch and just jumps up on her and like starts straddling her. And all the girls are like, fuck you, Brittany, you're brown. And they just all start cheering, like clapping. And I never dance. I'm so shit at dancing. Like, I can't do it.
Sure.
And I was like, fuck, it's working. You, come here. And then grab another girl and throw her down.
Oh, my God.
Just straddling these girls. And we just had to dance our way out of that situation. And we got out of it. We managed to turn the room around.
Wow.
But, man, it was fucking so stressful and scary. And, yeah, thank God we brought it back. But, yeah, it was
Bro,
hectic.
What's with the Molson guy? Did you ever get any follow-up on that dude?
No, he got fired straight away. He got a terrible review. We messaged the big boss man and said, don't hire him again. He was absolutely horrible. We almost lost the clients completely. Yeah, and then that was it. And then, actually, side note to the story, at the very end of the night, one of the girls actually brought me in the room, and she like tried to kiss me, and I don't do that on the job. Like, I swear, I'm not even saying it because I'm telling the story on this podcast. I don't do it. And I was like, nah. And she goes, well, if you would like to, you can. But by the way, I've got genital herpes, so I just thought I should let you know that as well. And like, you know what? It's a real disease. People have it, like more people than you would think. So I don't judge it. But I just get me out of this room right now. Like, I just gotta go. I just left there. But it was the weirdest night ever.
It's a funny way to make a proposition when you are already getting rejected. And then you say, you know, I know you're rejecting me, but just in case you change your mind, you should know I have genital herpes. This is ladies, men, whoever, you know, as we're saying, a lot of people have this, but it's not the best way to approach potentially hooking up with someone who is already rejecting you. To tell them you have genital herpes. It's probably not the best way to go.
I never thought about it like that. Yeah. It's not very sexy at all.
No. Mood killer. It's a mood killer.
Yeah.
So Butlers in the Buff, though, like, how many jobs would you say you've been on like, aside this being one job? Like, how many have you done?
Pointless. Like, you would do like 3 times a week, maybe. And then, because Whistler's a massive bachelorette place, it's a little fun ski town. People from Vancouver come up. So you do 3 a week, usually on your own. The most I've ever did was with 2 other guys. And but I only did it for a year. Like, I was in the country making money when I kind of shouldn't have been at the time. And then, it was just a nice little fun way to make money and motivation to go to the gym. Like, since I've stopped doing it, I've got a girlfriend now. I've stopped doing it, like, but it means that I've stopped going to the gym as much because the pressure's not there anymore.
It's funny. It's funny what that does to your mind without even realizing it. You know, you don't want to be in your skivvies and have a belly, have a little gut. You know what I mean? You don't, and also it's not even just about keeping your job. It's just about like pure self-esteem. You don't want to have any of these women looking at you like, oh. That would be the most. Like,
that's not what we signed up for. Yeah.
Yeah. It would also be the most ego-killing thing if you're in that, you know, and then you get some sneers. That would be like the time to hang. And then
you got to be with them for 2 hours as well. Right. So it's not like it's a sneer and then bye. It's a sneer and then, all right, let's get through this then, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, let's do it.
I mean,
but you do the weirdest stuff. They asked me to one time not even play games, just make lasagna, and then
I was like, okay, so I just made it.
I just made a lasagna, and I made it wrong. Like, it wasn't like I had to make it from scratch. They just wanted me to like put it in the oven and like get all the prep work done for the side salad. But in Ireland, we use Celsius, and here it's Fahrenheit. So once they were ready for the lasagna, it was still fucking frozen. So I messed that up. But I was like, don't make me like lasagna. Like, come on, get your money's worth here.
I mean, that is hilarious. That's got to be the weirdest request, right? Come on in, Butler in the
lasagna
buff.
thing lasagna. Was yeah. I've had a buddy, and his job was that he had to sing Disney songs the entire night. Just sing Disney. So yeah, it's strange. Girls are, but then there was one really sad one where the girl was like, "Can you please just dance for my friend because she just went through a divorce and it would make her feel really nice." And it was so, but the girl was like almost crying, and it was just so sad. And then I ended up putting on my clothes, and then we ended up just sitting down and talking, like me sitting in the room just chatting to the girls. Like, so what did he do? Oh, pig. Like sometimes you just talk to them and be their shrink.
It's so interesting because when men, obviously, just having been a man in the world, inevitably, I've been places where there are strippers who come and put on their whole act, and it's the vibe is obviously so different. The thing you have to watch out for in those situations is the one or two assholes who are like really gonna fucking be actual creeps and potentially try to do something actually gross. But I would imagine
I've seen all that. Like, I've seen all those guys. I know guys that go in there. A guy literally told me what his main mission was to have sex with the hottest girl in the room. And he would go in there, he would only give her attention, and then by the end of the night, he would ask her where the bathroom is and then give it a go. And I'm just like, man, you're there to do a job. Like that's shite. Like,
that's so weird.
Creepy, like, and then it's like, and what if that doesn't pay off? Then you're just that weirdo who ruined their night, like trying that. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's such a weird way to try to have sex, to be like, you know what, I'm going to sign up for Butlers in the buff, and then when I get up there in my skivvies and they're expecting me to put on a show, then I'm really going to try to lay it on thick and have sex here. You know what I mean?
It's so gross. It's just gross. Like, you're still in your little apron and stuff. Yeah. Then it's prostitution. That's where I draw the line. Like, I'm not going to do that. Like, nah, forget it.
Yeah.
But it was a fun time when it did it. Kept me in shape. Definitely was an ego boost. When you would finish your gig, you would go out to the bar, meet your friends, and be like, "Oh, that was a rush." Like, you feel like, I guess it might feel like, I don't know, like when Chris does stand up and then you come and you're on such a high that you're just, how do I bring myself down from that high? It's kind of like that. Yeah. Like, but yeah, it was a fun time, and I'm glad I got the story to tell that it did it. Like,
I mean, that story is wild.
That director did it, and he turned out all right, so it was kind of fun.
Dude, I guess one last thing, I got to say, 3 times a week even in a place where people frequently come to have bachelorette parties, that sounds like a lot, dude. Like,
man,
that's like an in-demand service.
Oh yeah, man! Like, the amount of people in Whistler that are doing it at the moment is hectic, and like it was so, like, just putting on the face, knowing you're like sitting and you're watching Netflix, you don't feel sexy at all,
right?
And then you got a gig at 8 p.m. Then you just got to go, and then like become this guy. Like, when you wear the uniform, you become someone else, and it was energy, like exhausting how much energy it took. But man, such high in demand, and it's like it's more talked about than the latter. Like, girls find it so much fun, that they're not ashamed to talk about it with their friends. You should order this service. It's really fun. Then they tell their friends, and they tell their friends.
Right.
Yeah, it was a very fun time, man.
And the performative element, do you have any experience at all performing at all, anything like acting or anything on stage like that?
Not necessarily. Like, I do love the idea of stuff like that. Like I do things just to kind of challenge myself when it comes to those things. Like, I did stand up at open mic twice last year, just for the adrenaline rush to see how it would go. But didn't do it after that. It was just to see how it felt. And then I work in media. Like, I actually work with like podcasters and videographers, and I work with actors a lot. So I'm always in that realm of performance. So I do love that stuff. And I think like, I felt like, I don't know, a guy called Abbey Roberge who works at the Laugh Factory, and like, I know he knows Chris, but I would film him sometimes, and I just love that place, and it's so adrenaline fueled. So I'm usually behind the camera, but anything I can do to get in front of it, I can shy away from it.
I guess one last question. I want to know, like, the very first time you did it, were you like what the fuck am I doing? Were you just like, fuck it? Or like, what was that like that first time?
I remember being in the car with my friend Joe, and then we were talking about it because I had the gig that night. And then I just went, Joe, am I mental? Like, is this mental? Like, it's about mental, isn't it? Like, I'm about to go and do a stripping thing. That's about mental. Like, because I never did it before. It's like, Joe, tell me now if you think it's mental. Like, don't just like be my friend and say, go for it. Like, is this bad? Am I mental? And when I went there, the guy who picked me up, because you always have to shadow someone, first of all, the same way that guy shadowed me.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a guy who referred to himself as Mr. Chris. It was this 45-year-old guy.
Wow, I love that.
He's been in, like a veteran Butler in the buff. And then he picks me up from Vancouver. He's got like one earring. He's bald. He used to be really fat back in the day, but lost all the weight. And he's super confident now. And then we're in the elevator on the way up, and he just goes, all right, just to let you know, I'm alpha. Let me be alpha. I'll be alpha tonight. And you're beta, and let me be alpha. And I'm just like, is that his way of saying, like, shadow me and I'll teach you stuff? Because he said it in such a weird way.
Right.
He kept calling himself alpha.
I mean,
but then he got there, and then, he ran the room so good. Like, watching the way he gave each girl the amount of attention. And, like, I felt awkward just being so quiet. Like, I was excited to start saying stuff in my own gig. So, at the first, but then they'd be like, oh, this is John's first time. And they'd, like, kind of clap. And then the girls would be like, oh, it's your first time. You're doing great. Like, don't worry. And then you kind of like, okay. So the first time, Mr. Chris, he had his own business card and everything. So he could like get his own personal gigs.
I love that.
But yeah, that was he taught me a lot. And he gave me his, like a printout with all of his games that I would laminate and make it like this size that would fit in the apron.
Wow,
so I'd always pull it
dude.
Out and play like, so it'd start off by playing What If. It's never have I ever. Get all the girls together. They all find out about each other because it's a bachelorette party. So there's people there who don't know other people there. Maybe it's a friend of the bride, then a colleague. Everyone gets to know each other. And then you start playing like the balloon bursting games where it's like the pop a balloon and everyone like gets up the weird sex positions and stuff. But he showed me all those games and I just used those like the routine. It worked every time.
Wow, Mr. Chris. Mr. Chris coming through, dude. What a fucking good ally to have in the Butlers and the Buff business. All right, man. Well, that's fucking wild. And I know what I'm going to be doing if I'm ever hard up on cash again.
Oh yeah, is your rig prepared? Are you Butlers and the Buff ready?
Hell no. Actually, you know what? Speaking of maybe making a second living out of it, what kind of money would you make?
So you would make $80 an hour plus tip plus good review. So if I was to do it, usually I work 2 hours. So I would make 160 plus tip, which usually ends up being another 100, which is 260 plus good review. So each girl that leaves a good review, it's an extra $30. So sometimes you'd walk out of there with $400 for 2 hours work. And you're serving drinks. Like I bartend too, so it was a piece of piss. It wasn't too bad at all.
That's fucking good. I mean, like,
man, it's good money. I feel like I'm advertising it right now for any guy out there who wants to make an extra cash. They're worldwide. UK, Australia, Canada. Give it a go if you're strapped for cash and need an ego boost and you have a good rig. And these guys go to the gym and their bodies get hidden.
Right.
Like, let's make some money off those things.
Show those fucking things. Make a couple $100 an hour. Fuck it. Butlers and the Buff. Did you ever date any of the customers at all? No. Never.
Never. There was actually, I'm a wedding videographer. So I used to use it for shooting weddings. I would use it as my side business. Be like, oh, like I actually do wedding videos for a living. And then the bride would go, we haven't got one yet. So I've actually got a few wedding gigs.
Dude, come on. That is a fucking amazing one too. Like you're the butler and the buff at the bachelorette party. And then you're there at the wedding, like fucking videographer, dude.
And they would so, like one wedding they didn't tell. They were like, we're not going to tell the husband.
Right.
I know you just say I found you. I go, fine, perfect. And the other one said they would, but the one that they didn't tell, he came up to me later that night when he was drinking at the wedding party and whispered to me, he goes, I know how you met my wife. And I'm just like,
oh my God.
Like, yeah. But he was like drunk where he said it. And then he came back and then he was doing the whole, It's fine. Like, it's funny. I think it's funny. And I'm just like, yeah, okay. But yeah, that was kind of scary when he said that. But all right.
Did you ever run into anybody you knew by any chance? Like when you get to a gig and then you're like, oh boy. Because that would be my fear.
There was,
my fear would be like, I run into like my girlfriend's friend or something. You know what I mean? Like something shitty. Yeah.
That did happen. It was my friend's friend because she was taking videos, and then my friend goes, "Oh my god, haha, that's my friend John."
Oh
and
my
then
god!
She was like, "No way!" And then that was the only thing. But I haven't like my girlfriends have joked with me that they were going to book me one day and not let me know. But they didn't do it. Thank fuck. But one time I actually did a full gay party, and that was actually so much fun. Yeah,
holy
that was hilarious,
shit, dude!
Yeah,
you obviously knew ahead of time.
So much fun. Oh yeah, you would see the name.
Right.
It was just the guy's name, and then you get there, and then it was just such a laugh. Like, just everything was penis shaped, like penis shaped straws. And, yeah, everything was penis shaped, and yeah, they were super fun too. Yeah, it was actually a really good time. I enjoyed it.
I feel like all this reminiscing, you're going to get back into it because you're remembering how fun it was.
I'm gonna have to break to my girlfriend, and I'm gonna have to start doing it again. Yeah. Well, there was a slight overlap when I was with her that I was doing it, and but she was fine with it. But yeah, it just started taking up too much time, just having two jobs, so I had to sack it off.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was fine with it. I had guys who did it, that had girlfriends as well. They would actually like shave their backs for them before they would go out, and like my roommate used to do that for me, and like I got a pretty hairy butt, and then he would have to sometimes. No, he says that he didn't do it, but one time he did do it, and Ben, you did it. Stop laying, like, stop telling people you didn't do it.
Dude, Ben, it's okay. Sometimes guys got to shave other guys' backs. It's how it goes, you know?
I know. Done me a solid.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, that's fucking incredible. I honestly had no idea about this. Obviously, I knew about male strippers, but I did not know about Butlers in the Buff. Now I do, and now everybody that listens to this podcast also knows. So I appreciate that.
All right. I'm glad to be the vocalist for them.
Yeah. The deliverer of good news. That's you.
Just don't do coke in the bathroom and you'll be fine.
Don't do coke in the bathroom, especially when there's 14 female cops right outside the door. That is the best advice you'll ever get on this podcast.
That should have been the title. Yeah, that should have been. Don't do coke in the bathroom when there's 14 female cops outside. Don't even say that was a
exactly. That's going to be the title of the episode. All right, man. Thank you so much.
All right, Matt, thanks for this. It was awesome. Love all your stuff. This has been so cool for me.